Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the West Milton Council meeting for June 2022. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Lord, our gracious Heavenly Father, we bow before your high and holy presence tonight, thankful for the day's blessings you bestowed upon us, thankful for the health that you have given to each of us here tonight, whatever measure it may be. We realize that it is a gift from you, that life is precious, and Father, we're thankful to have this time together here tonight to see to the needs, business, and future of the city of West Milton. We're thankful so much for this place that you've given us to live and abide in. We're thankful for each that donate their time and Father, put effort into making it a better place for all. We're thankful, Father, for the blessings of life that you've given to us, the hand of protection that you keep upon us. And Father, we just thank you so much for the freedoms that we still possess here in this land, and just pray that you would continue to be with us and watch over us as we strive to continue on. We pray, Father, that you would give us a good meeting here tonight, that you would give each open and receptive minds, and Father, clarity of thought, and pray that you would just bless in this. We thank you, Father, for again this day and for this time tonight. We thank you for Christ our Savior, and pray that you would work amongst our community in all ways. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, I just remembered. Bruce doesn't lie. That's why he's not here.
I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Yes, it is.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Tracy.
Here.
Councilor Metz.
Here.
Councilor Horn.
Here.
Councilor Dorman.
Here.
Councilor Kopp.
Here.
Mayor Miller.
Here. Thank you.
I wasn't ready for that.
I believe, we need to excuse Scott from this month's meeting. He is on a vacation, and I believe Sarah from last month's workshop. Are there any motions to excuse our members?
Mr. Way, I'll make a motion to excuse Vice Mayor from, what was that, the last May's meeting?
Tonight.
Oh, tonight's meeting.
Tonight's
that's right.
meeting, yeah.
And then Sarah from
Last month's workshop.
Last month's workshop.
Yes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Tracy.
Yes.
Councilor Metz.
Yes.
Councilor Horn.
Yes.
Councilor Dorman.
Yes.
Councilor Kopp.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes. Thank you. Manager Sheridan. Manager Sheridan is filling in for the clerk this evening. She's on vacation as well.
That is correct.
Council should have received the minute.
Bealey. I'm in charge of the West Milton Parade and part of the West Milton 4th of July Committee. And we would like to appoint our Grand Marshal for the parade, and would be honored to have Bob as our Grand Marshal for the parade. He's been a member of West Milton for a long time, Lions for over 40 years, and owner.
Wow, very nice.
Thank you very much. Appreciate everything that you guys have done.
Yes, to sign.
We have much more business to conduct, so don't feel like you have to stay.
Council.
Very good. Thank you. We'll have more discussion about that when we get to the ordinances.
Hi, I'm Mike Kraft. I'd like to second what Brandon Coase had written in the letter. So I think it's rather a patriotic thing as a citizen, and I don't think, to me, that fireworks are necessarily
91.11 possession, sale, and use of fireworks shall be amended to add a subsection F that reads as follows. Section 91.11, possession, sale, and use of fireworks. Subsection F. All provisions of the West Milton Codified Ordinances, including but not limited to West Milton's Codified Ordinance, Chapter 90, ordinances that regulate noise, disturbance of the peace, and disorderly conduct, will remain in full force and effect regardless of the permission granted in House Bill 172. Section 2, that accept as herein amended and supplemented all the provisions of Chapter 91 fireworks, explosives, and fire prevention as contained in the West Milton Codified Ordinance shall remain in full force and effect. Section 3, this ordinance shall be effective on and after the earliest date permitted by law.
Thank you, Ms. Brush. Opening up for discussion with council. I know that we've had a couple, I think at least 2 discussions during workshops where we talked about it, and we heard from the police chief, which supports this, as well as the fire chief. And so I know that we've talked a little bit about that, and I know Chris and you wanted to talk a little bit as well, so.
2 questions come to mind first. Since it's an ordinance, does it require 2 readings?
Yes.
Okay. So then we actually won't pass it until after the July 4th holiday.
It would.
Unless you call a special meeting
Right.
at your workshop to
Right.
make sure it goes into force, in force prior to the July 4th holiday.
Okay. Second thing,
Sorry.
in Chapter 91, Section 91.11, does the language read that possession is illegal already?
Yes.
Okay. Because, like, we make changes or whatever, but that's where I'm at on it, so.
What was the discussion at the workshop? I mean, did you guys have any?
So we had talked, and Chris had made it that point, but without adopting this, the police have no teeth. There's no mechanism of being able to enforce anything, if that makes sense. We looked at, I think Lene provided language that some other municipalities had adopted that tried to, say, limit the amount of what you could possess, so like by weight. But then the question would be, how do you determine that? Then you're asking a police officer to get a scale out to weigh things, and
Take apart the paper, the wrapper,
yeah, you'd have
and
to
figure out what the powder
disassemble,
component is. and-
Yeah, so that quickly, we didn't feel like that was a very reasonable ask of the police officers, so, or what it is currently up until July the 1st. So,
Because I'm really on the fence about it too. I really get and kind of feel the same way, to be honest, with Mr. Horn.
I'd probably be a yes if possession
Yes,
wasn't in
that's
there.
just really irritating.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Scarcely heard anything in my opinion.
I'd also add that I don't understand why we couldn't, if we want to set some sort of limitation, I don't buy that we can't put some sort of weight limitation or volume limitation. When people get arrested for drug possession, it's based on how much they have. So do
Absolutely.
our police have the ability to do that? I don't know. But somebody's got to weigh the stuff that they confiscate and decide what to charge them with. So that's something we could do, we just aren't doing that. That's something I'd be much more in favor of, and I kind of joked at the workshop that, is it bigger than a bread box? You know, I mean, whatever the size is, you know, if it'll fit in this bucket or container, then you're okay. If it, just like when you get the 11% off at Menards, everything that fits in the bag, or and make a bunch of noise and enjoy celebrating our country's independence.
And you can limit the dates. You can limit the dates, you can limit the times. Just to let you know that.
I think much along with what Councilman Horn was saying is where I struggle is, you know, in the state of Ohio, we're allowed to own firearms, we're allowed to possess them, but at the local level, we are not allowed to discharge them in the town, but it's not illegal to have them in town. It's not illegal to have them in your home. It's not illegal to transport them within the law. And why we don't allow them in town is they are a nuisance, they can be dangerous, and you can't say whether go out of town to target practice and things like that. But yet we are allowed to have them. And that's kind of a, that possession piece is the struggle for me. The safety of the other part is a lot easier to swallow to me. But yeah, I struggle with that same thing that Chris does.
I agree with that. I think at our workshop when the police chief mentioned even if you were pulled over driving through town and you didn't live in town and you had fireworks in your possession, that would technically be illegal. So if you're from Tip City says it's okay, but you drive through West Milton, and not that they're searching your car, but
Yeah.
technically
And
you're breaking the law.
You're absolutely correct. But he also said that they've never done that, but I mean, they've never.
It's just the
gone
fact, I
after
think,
that,
like you were
but
saying, you just
I know
don't want
it-
to
I
feel
know
like
it.
you're doing something
Right,
illegal,
yeah,
even though
exactly.
they're not searching my house. They've never
Right.
searched my house.
Right,
but-
because there's a difference between, yeah, we've never done that, and mentioning me doing it doesn't mean I'm not breaking the law. And for
Oh,
most
yeah.
people that,
Yeah.
that's just, and I realize we're not stopping people, we're not, and that's
Yeah.
not gonna be the case.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Because the people who want to set off the gigantic fireworks are going to do it no matter what. Just like any type of law, the criminals are the ones that are breaking them. So it doesn't deter them from not setting off their massive fireworks.
Well, that goes
right?
to what Anthony
But
was saying about
then
teeth, though. when
This is the enforcement
they do.
mechanism.
So then
Right.
the police have no way to enforce that.
If we don't, if we don't put something in there.
I mean, I wonder how often
Not very.
that's happening, here in West Milton. I don't know.
Police chief
The
Doyle
police
said it
chief
wouldn't
can
happen
speak to that,
that much.
so.
Not a problem.
I don't know the exact numbers. I mean, he could probably give us that information, but.
Since he's been here, he says he's only made one arrest, and that was in
Uh,
March.
Is there? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything else. I'm good.
I guess one other thing to consider is, I trust Chief Wright when he says that, well, we're not gonna pull somebody over just for that, or because we suspect that, but he's not gonna be our police chief forever.
And he's not every officer at every
That-
moment.
That's true too. So it still is against the law, and if you heard that somebody, whatever, then somebody could decide that that's what they're gonna do. And I just don't, even though it might be legal, I don't think it's fair. So I think that kind of goes to what Casey's saying about that.
All right. Any other discussion? Okay. We will have the vote on that at the second reading, so. Moving on to CM-22-25. Ms. Brush.
It's a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of an alternative tax document for the fiscal year 2023. Whereas Section 5705.281 of the Ohio Revised Code authorizes and empowers the County Budget Commission by an affirmative vote of a majority of its members, including an affirmative vote by the auditor of the county to waive the requirement that a taxing authority of subdivision or other taxing unit adopt a tax budget, as is provided under Section 5705.28 of the Ohio Revised Code, and require such taxing authority to provide such information as may be required by the commission. Am I echoing? Let me fix that. Where was I? A taxing authority to provide such information as may be required by the commission to perform its duties under Chapter 5705 of the Ohio Revised Code, including dividing the rates of each of the subdivisions or taxing units' tax levies as provided under Section 5705.04 of the Ohio Revised Code. And whereas pursuant to the terms and provisions of Section 5705.281 of the Ohio Revised Code, the Miami County Budget Commission, by an affirmative vote of a majority of its members, including an affirmative vote by the auditor of Miami County, Ohio, has authorized and permits the taxing authority of a subdivision or other taxing unit within Miami County, Ohio, to refrain from adopting a tax budget and has designated the information which the said Budget Commission requires of each taxing authority of a subdivision or other taxing unit to permit the Budget Commission to perform its duties under Chapter 5705 of the Ohio Revised Code. And whereas it is the desired intention of the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, as the taxing authority of West Milton, to elect to refrain from adopting a tax budget for the fiscal year 2023, and in the alternative, to submit to the Budget Commission the information and documents which it has indicated will be necessary in the absence of such adoption. And whereas previously by its enactment of Resolution Number CM-22-18, the Council of West Milton, Ohio declared its desire and intention and authorized and directed the Chief Fiscal Officer of the municipality to prepare and to submit to the Miami County Budget Commission such information and documents as are necessary incident to said process and submission, and to take such other actions as may be reasonably necessary incident thereto. And whereas the members of council have examined such information and documents and approve of the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, Council does hereby declare that the members of said body have examined the contents of the information and documents which have been prepared by the Chief Fiscal Officer of the Municipality of West Milton for submission to the Miami County Budget Commission under the alternative tax document format provided by Section 5705.281 of the Ohio Revised Code for the fiscal year 2023, and that the Council of the Municipality of West Milton hereby approved the same. Section 2, the council does hereby authorize and direct the Chief Fiscal Officer of the Municipality of West Milton to submit such information and documents to the Miami County Budget Commission and to take such other actions as may be reasonably necessary incident to said submission. Section 3, the council does hereby find and determine that all deliberations and actions related to the foregoing were effected in open and public session and in full compliance with Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code and otherwise as is provided by law. And Section 4, this resolution shall take full force and effect upon its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brush.
You're welcome.
I know that this is one of your favorite to read every year.
I'll bet you it's- If the council's not aware, this was just the second step in a two-step process. The first ordinance was passed at the last meeting as referenced in this ordinance. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Is there any discussion or questions concerning the resolution? Any motions for the resolution?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept CM-22-25 as written.
Second.
Roll call?
Counselor Tracy?
Yes.
Counselor Metz?
Yes.
Counselor Horn?
Yes.
Counselor Dorman?
Yes.
Counselor Kopp?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to CM-22-26. Ms. Brush.
A resolution authorizing the municipal manager to apply for, accept, and enter into cooperative agreement for a water tower improvements project between the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, and the Ohio Water Development Authority. Whereas the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, hereinafter referred to as the LGA, believes it is necessary to repair the existing North Water Tower located within the municipality that was built in 1994 by replacing the interior stand pipe and performing smaller miscellaneous repairs. And whereas the LGA desires to obtain a loan from the Ohio Water Development Authority, hereinafter referred to as the OWDA, to finance costs of the planning of such facilities on the terms set forth in the cooperative agreement defined below. And whereas the OWDA has indicated its willingness to make a loan for that purpose and on those terms. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, that the LGA hereby approves the planning of the aforesaid Water Tower Improvements Project in cooperation with the OWDA under the provisions, terms, and conditions set forth in the Cooperative Agreement for State Planning Project as set forth in Exhibit A, the Cooperative Agreement, and hereby authorizes the municipal manager and the director of finance of the LGA to execute the cooperative agreement with the OWDA substantially in the form set forth in Exhibit A. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution ordinance were passed in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in open meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage. Oh, it should read this resolution. I apologize.
Yes. Any discussion or questions concerning the resolution?
I have a couple. First one hopefully is kind of simple. Why are we called an LGA? What does that mean?
I knew you were going to ask me that
You're
as soon
welcome.
as I started reviewing this again.
Local
And
government, something?
yeah, it's a form that was actually sent by the OWDA
Okay.
where you kind of plug in yours. And
Local
I just
governmental
caught that it
authority.
doesn't actually
Local
explain.
government authority, there you go.
There you go.
You win.
Thank you.
Sounds as good as
You're the winner.
So my next question is, we're applying for a loan. What's the interest rate going to be on this loan?
It's a zero.
Okay.
I'd like to recognize both the Finance Director Grice and Service Director Herron. As you may recall, when we passed the ordinance at the last meeting to authorize the repairs, this was not in the budget. And so we had to find a way to pay for it. And we explored conventional financing, and we were made aware that there was a very short deadline to apply for these funds. And because Jill and Ben did such a great job under the gun, we got it submitted and accepted. And so now we'll have a 0% loan.
Okay. And then my other question is, I know that in water and sewer funds, we have some cash. Is there a reason we don't just pay cash for this?
We don't have enough cash to pay for everything else within the budget that we paid cash for.
Gotcha.
We'll
Okay.
talk about that in the rate increase ordinances that are coming up soon.
And as I recall, we had more sewer money than we had water
That
money.
is
anyway,
correct.
right? Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Any motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept Resolution CM-22-26.
Second.
And we'll say that is as read, referring to
read.
the ordinance.
The little change on Section 3.
Yeah.
Counselor Tracy?
Yes.
Counselor Metz?
Yes.
Counselor Horn?
Yes.
Counselor Dorman?
Yes.
Counselor Kopp?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. Thank you. Moving to CM-22-27, Ms. Brush.
It's an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of West Milton as adopted by Chapter 150.006 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances. Whereas the West Milton Planning Board received a petition to modify the zoning district boundary of parcels of real estate on the north side of State Route 571 in the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, known as the former golf course, known as parcel numbers L39-031436, L39-013438, and L39-013434, approximately 94.168 total acres, from A1 Agricultural District to PUD Planned Unit Development. And whereas council has received an affirmative recommendation from the West Milton Planning Board to amend the official zoning map of West Milton by changing the zoning district boundaries of the parcels of real estate being described as parcel numbers L39-031436, L39-013438, and L39-013434 from A1 Agricultural District to PUD Planned Unit Development. And whereas Section 150.0319C requires council to modify zoning boundaries by ordinance as prescribed by West Milton Charter, Section 4.14. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, council accepts the recommendation of the West Milton Planning Board to modify the zoning district boundary of parcels of real estate described as parcels numbers L39-031436, L39-013438, and L39-013434, approximately 94.168 acres, from A1 Agricultural District to PUD Planned Unit Development. See Exhibit 1 attached. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect 10 days after the second reading and approval by council.
Thank you.
If I may, Mayor?
Yes.
If council may recall that our code, the development process begins with a property being annexed. It comes in as an A1 property. And the first step is to review by the planning board, which has made a unanimous recommendation to rezone it to a PD, planned development. And so I would suggest this is a routine step. It has nothing to do with the specific project. Really, the only question I would suggest to the council is if you want the property to be developed. you need to annex, or you need to rezone it to a PD.
Yep.
And then the next step in the process will be the specifics of the project, will then go back to the planning board for their review and ultimately result in a recommendation to you on the specific project. So this is what I would suggest a routine step in our development process, but I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
So that's basically, if we want it to be anything besides farmland, we need to do this.
Exactly. That is exactly correct.
All right. Any other questions, discussion? All right. That's a ordinance, so that's the first reading, and we'll have our second reading.
Correct.
And have a vote on it then. All right. CM-22-28. Ms. Brush.
Is that the one you're doing first?
Let me, if I may explain briefly, Mayor, I
Yes.
apologize. As council may recall, we have had a rate study that showed us that we needed some significant rate increases. And in workshops, we've discussed various increase amounts. You have financial information on 3 different rate increases for both sewer and water. And what I'm recommending for sewer is the middle of the road. We looked at both 6, 8, and 10%. What I'm recommending is the 8% increase for the sewer, and then the automatic 2% increase going forward. And what I would suggest to you that at that rate level, you'll generate approximately $330,000 of additional revenue over 3 years. So in effect, $110,000 per year of additional revenue that can be used to maintain and improve the sanitary sewer infrastructure. And what I would recommend is that no further rate increases are considered for at least 3 years. And 3 years from now, we come back and take a look at where we are. And so on sewer, it's 8%, which, as you may recall, was in a much better fiscal condition than is the water utility. So while I know 8% sounds like a lot, an additional $110,000 a year really is not a huge amount when it comes to fixing the challenges we have in the sewer and water utilities. I'd be glad to answer any questions. I have prepared the other ordinances at a higher rate if you're interested in going that direction, so they're here. But before Lene goes to read it, I wanted some feedback with that recommendation. Do you want to proceed with my recommendation at the 8% rate?
So I have a couple questions.
Please.
I know that we are looking at some type of replacement for the sewage treatment plant.
We
coming
are,
up.
in fact, at the next workshop, I would expect Wessler Engineering to bring their preliminary report on the condition of our wastewater treatment plant. And this is not intended to fund the cost of the repairs or a new plant. This is only dealing with the collection system, primarily the collection system. What we'll do with that additional $110,000 is we'll start lining more of the sanitary sewer lines to try to stabilize them and reduce the amount of I&I.
Okay. And when you talk about I&I,
Inflow and infiltration, groundwater getting into the system.
Yeah.
On a wet weather day, our wastewater treatment plant, up to 80% of the water that goes through it is groundwater, and that's very expensive to treat.
So sewer runoff or street runoff and.
Street run, groundwater,
Right.
that's, yeah, when you have clay tile mains, that's a problem.
So what are the updated ones?
You'll line them so it's solid plastic.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to dig them up. The good news with sanitary sewer, you don't normally have to dig them up. And that saves you a lot of money. With water lines, you don't have that luxury. Do you wish to, any other questions?
When you say we would collect around 100,000 a year additional,
Right.
what does that buy us? So what can we do? You said that doesn't get us very far.
I asked Mr. Herron, do you have any idea how much pipe we could line for $100,000?
Yeah, so if you got in, just say the 4 to 5,000 foot range, our average sanitary sewer is 6-inch to 8-inch size. We've got a lot of 4, but let's just say, for argument's sake, 6-inch. So depending on the cost per foot, it would be, just say 5,000 feet, which would be like from, if we wanted to do a sewer project on Main Street from Hayes Street to Dewar, that's about 5,000 feet.
Okay.
So hypothetically, you know, we could reline and, you know, cut in laterals on, you know, a 5,000 foot section of,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
6-inch tile.
So that would take us a while to do everything that we need to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. It's,
Yeah, for sure.
It might sound like, I mean, $100,000 is a lot of money, but with the price increases that everything is going towards, that what you're saying is that that's still going to take a while to do all the repairs that we need to do.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we're talking sewer, but on the water side, it would be 6-inch again, $18 a foot for ductile iron pipe, say 3,500 feet. So that same stretch would get you from Hayes to Stillwater for 6-inch water. I mean, just for future conversation, that's about what you're looking at. So yeah, it would take quite some time to.
Yeah.
For the average, do we have any idea what an average sewage bill is for a
We do.
municipality household?
Based on 4,000 gallons a month, the average sewer bill is $34.88.
So if we go 10% increase, we're talking an increase of,
That would go to $38.37 if you go 10%.
$3.50,
Yeah.
cup of coffee a month.
I think we're underestimating with the 8% personally. I think with the cost of everything going the direction they're going, I would rather see us err on that side. And when we're talking the household range of $3 to $4, to err on the side of having the money we need to do to turn dirty water into clean water and get it there to do that. And then on the flip side, the municipal water distribution system, you know, is a whole separate thing. But I think it's two of the most basic things we do for a community. And I don't think we can falter on that.
Right, because you're asking the average household, not individual resident, but the average household to pay $3.50 more for sewer only. I mean, I know it's going to be more when we get to water, so their total bill is going to increase by much more than $3.50. Or maybe I shouldn't say much more, but more than $3.50.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
I concur with that.
All right, look at the 10%.
Casey?
You don't want to have to increase anything, but
Well,
you gotta do what you gotta do, like, you have to
think-
fix stuff.
Jeff used the analogy of ripping the Band-Aid off. Because we know that this is going to come, and that these repairs need to be made, and it's not been increased over time.
Right.
So these rates have kind of fallen behind. That was my understanding.
That is correct.
So it's kind of,
I think Ben and the city have been tremendous stewards of our taxpayer dollars
Absolutely.
for a long time. And it's not like we're asking for more money to blow frivolously. It's to do the work that they're hired to do and to be able to do it safely. And I just think it's an investment that we need to make.
Ben,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I have a quick question. So I know nothing about the sewer lines and how everything operates, and, you know, to me, more water pushing that stuff through sounds great, but it's not. So how much of an increase is it when you have all that extra groundwater you're cleaning and pushing through? Like, how is it gonna save us? I know it is a savings, but explain to me, because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
How does
so,
that
I mean,
save us money when you don't have the groundwater in the system?
Once it hits the plant, you begin treating. It stresses the plant. So if the plant's designed to do 1.4 million gallons per day, and you end up trying to treat
Or more.
over 2 million, it stresses the plant.
Okay.
Therefore, you have to, well, aside from everything else that creates, there's environmental issues with that also. Overflowing into the basin, things like that are, things that were acceptable back in the 70s and 80s are becoming less acceptable. It just puts stress on the plant, and it creates a nightmare, really.
When you say
Chemical-
overflow the basin, explain a little more what that means.
Just basically means our equalization basin's designed to take that initial
Overflow.
onslaught, which
that ends up
it had
where?
been for years, but we've been
It's
getting.
directly in the river, untreated correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
okay, we don't want that.
Well, and the cost of the chemicals, the cost of the power to operate that, and every gallon that you push through it that's not wastewater helps wear down the plant that much faster.
Wear and tear.
So we're never going to eliminate the I&I. In fact, when we have to design the new plant, I think we'll take that into account.
But every step we can take to minimize it,
But
we
yeah,
should.
yes, and the fact that the clay tile, if that ever collapses, if we can reinforce it so it doesn't break apart, and how much it'll cost to fix it at that point. So there are so many criteria. It's amazing. Every place finds the money to fix it in an emergency, but it wouldn't be great if you didn't have to come up with that extra money, because it'll cost more in an emergency. No matter what we pay now, fixing it after it breaks will cost twice as much as it would have cost if we prevent it. I know it's a lot of money, but it only makes sense to maintain the infrastructure better than you have in the past.
Ben, when the liners go through, obviously they're I'm gonna guess, like a soft plastic. Do they become rigid over time and become?
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a couple different types.
It's almost
of
like putting
liners,
a
but-
pipe inside a pipe.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. They force pressure into, one that can adhere, and then they have a machine that goes in and cuts out the laterals.
Right.
So that it's all just one solid sealed piece meshed together, yeah.
Pulls it through like a sleeve.
How long does the plastic last?
Normally another
PVC.
25 to 40 years, depending
Yeah,
on which
I
one.
mean-
Underground? I know
Yeah.
if it's in sunlight, it doesn't, it degrades within 5 years. But underground?
Yeah, it
Chemicals
actually,
and sewage?
we've got PVC, I know that we put in the ground, maybe my first year here that we've dug up that's still in really good shape. So, yeah, it's 40 years plus you'll get out of PVC at least.
You have a question?
So on the ordinance, which isn't filled in yet because we're deciding percentages,
I have the versions that are filled in. I want to give you the
Yes.
options.
the service charge on,
Everything went up by whatever percentage you decide.
okay. And so does the 3488 include the service charge or not? The current average monthly bill?
I believe it does.
Okay. All right. I haven't
No,
looked
it's,
at an itemized bill in a while. Thank you.
am I to understand that council would like the reading at the 10%?
I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Guess we'll go 10.
There's also a blank for an effective date.
And I'm going to suggest to give us plenty of time, September.
Okay. Sure.
Is it September 1st?
Yes. I would point out one other piece. We've completed the rate study. We're now looking at rate increases. There's only really one more piece of the infrastructure as far as sewer and water, and that's the tap fees. At some point, because the tap fees are only paid by new customers, I'm gathering information and we'll be bringing a recommendation, and once that's done, hopefully we'll be done with any increases on sewer and water for at least 3 years. All right?
Besides the automatic 2%.
Besides
The 2% is going to kick in automatically,
Yeah.
yeah, right, but any increase that will require your action.
Very good.
Good?
Yep.
It's an ordinance amending section 51.22B sewer rate schedule of the Code of Ordinances for the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio. Whereas the municipality's expenses for providing sewer service and maintaining the sewer system is projected to exceed revenues provided by the current rate structure. And whereas council recognizes the importance of maintaining the fiscal stability of the municipality's sewer fund. Whereas it has been determined that it is necessary to increase sewer rates for service to residents and non-residents in order to maintain the fiscal stability of the sewer fund. Now therefore be it ordained by the council for the Village of West Milton, Ohio as follows. Section 1, the language contained in the existing section of the West Milton Code of Ordinances 51.22B1 and 2 are hereby modified to read as follows. Section 51.22 Sewer Rate Schedule in Municipality. Section B, the usage charge shall be based on the quantity of water used as measured by the water meters used on all billing statements payable after the effective date herein provided, and the sewer rates are fixed as follows, with a 2% automatic annual increase each year thereafter. 1. Effective with the September 1st, 2022 billing, the sewer rate shall be composed of two parts. A sewer service of $6.69 for each billing period. B, a per 1,000 gallon usage charge of $6.97. 2, the service charge shall be levied and a usage charge for each 1,000 gallons of water used shall be added to the service charge. Thus, the minimum rate charged for 1,000 gallons in a billing period shall be $13.66. Section 3, this ordinance shall become effective from and after September 1st, 2022. Is that the date you want on there?
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
No, I think that's fine.
Is there a motion for, oh, I'm sorry, disregard. That's an
So
ordinance.
this would be the first reading?
Yes,
Okay.
my apologies.
No, that's fine.
Moving on to CM-22-29. And
All right, similar to the sewer, water rate, our current average is $43.10. We looked at 12, 15, and 17% increases on water, which again, I know is significant. I can tell you that no manager wishes to raise rates unless they absolutely have to. You may recall from previous discussions in the workshop that our water fund would be in the red by the end of this year if we didn't take action. So at the 17% increase, which is what I'm recommending, at the end of 3 years, we'd have an additional $375,000 to invest into the water utility. I will remind you that the project of replacing the 6-inch water main in Miami Street alone was more than $1 million. That is the project we did get some grant money for, but has been delayed because of the number of lead service lines that were discovered. Ben has done a great job and gone back and got grants to help us with determining the exact number of lead service lines. And it's my understanding there's also a program to help fund the cost of reconnecting at least some of those lead service lines. And the project, which was originally intended to be this summer, is now pushed back to next summer. And I guarantee it'll be more expensive next summer than it would have been if we were able to complete it this summer. So while 17% again is a significant increase, that's how much revenue it generates for us to put back into the water utility, and that makes a difference between being in the red and ending the fiscal year in the black. There are also the 2% automatic increases we've discussed in the sewer is also built into the water ordinance. But I have the 12 and 15% rate ordinances prepared if you prefer either of those options.
When was the last time any of these were increased?
Several years ago, long before I got here, I'm sorry, I can't tell you the exact dates.
And the 2% from here on? for
The
rest of our
2% will
lives?
go on forever. With both sewer and water, unless something changes dramatically, we should not have to revisit this for at least 3 years. When we do revisit it, I would expect us to know a lot more about what we're going to need as far as a new sewer plant.
other than the main, coming down Main Street, or, excuse me, Miami Street,
Right.
what other large projects could we potentially be seeing? I mean,
My understanding, and Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, a significant number of our water lines have exceeded their life expectancy. We're currently experiencing some significant water loss. And of course, we have to pay for every gallon we buy. And so if we're losing it somewhere because of a hole or a break or for whatever reason, that's just water that's gone. So I would expect that a significant number of lines over a period of time need to be replaced.
I'll go back to what I said earlier. I think the couple of the most basic services we provide our community is water and sewer. And again, I think the municipality has done a tremendous job of stewardship with those resources. And like everybody that's hired into a job, they've asked you to put a lot of information together and give us the best options we have. And over all the discussions that have gone over this, I think you've done that. And I think, like most people, I think it's real easy to budget too low and fall short trying to make everybody happy. And I don't think we want to fall short budgeting how we provide water to our community. So I again would probably fall on the side of the higher one, to be on the safe side. If we find ourselves in an abundance of rates, money, and don't know what to do with it, we can always lower it. But the crisis.
He doesn't want to lower it.
No, I'm saying if money starts falling out of the sky.
If you win the lottery, sure. Short of that, no. Never promise to lower rates.
There was no promise to lower rates.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that we should exercise fall on the side of having the money we need to do what we need to do and not fall short.
well, and we don't,
I'm sorry, cut you off.
we don't know how long we're gonna get 0% interest loans. I mean, if that ever dries up, then those water tower projects or water line projects or whatever, we're gonna be paying interest on. So
Which is rising.
Which is rising, and right now, we don't have the funds in the budget to fund those kind of projects. So, we would be in a pinch. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut you
you're
off,
fine.
Chris.
I was just gonna say, at the 17% plus the sewer, because it all comes on one bill, so that's what you look at.
Yes, sir.
The average monthly bill will go up $10.81.
Yep, from $43.10 to $50.42 is what I calculated.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's total. We're looking at $349 for sewer, $732 for water. And so, like everybody said, we don't want to raise, you don't like to talk about that, all that kind of stuff. And every dollar is important today with inflation and everything for the consumer as well as for the municipality, both ways. And so we don't take it lightly. At the same time, if you look at that in relation to the overall everything else, I would be willing to wager that phone bills, electric bills, and whatever else have went up way more than $10 a month. And so, do we want to put extra burden? No, but a lot of the citizens of this town will understand that, yeah, we need to pay $10 more to invest in the future. So that's what I think. And that's coming from the guy who's probably got the biggest water bill of everybody. I'll put it up against anybody.
I'm sure you do.
So,
I have the grandkids in town.
I would agree. I'm willing to pay $11 extra a month to help our town out. I mean,
I know
that's going
we've
out to eat.
talked about the contract with Troy for water.
Yes.
So, and that like would even be going up Do these rates take that into consideration?
They do not.
And would we be looking to further increase them then after we do that?
Their increases become automatic due to the contract, but yes, if they do an increase, that's going to impact what our consumers pay. We've talked about it a little bit, and I've been working on this because you've made it a priority to look for options. If I found a water source today that was anywhere remotely close to the village, it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, to get the water to where we could build a plant. And a new water treatment plant would cost $5 to $7 million. And so your rates would go up even higher if you were converting to your own plant with your own source, because you'd have to pay that $7 million bill. And so I have to wonder if there's not a misunderstanding or a perception that if we had our own source, it would be cheaper. The difference is when you gave up your old water plant, you're now starting from scratch, and that's expensive. And as much as I hate paying Troy for the water, and I have not found a source anywhere close, that wouldn't be the answer to your problems. And I just want everybody to understand that when you gave up your plant in the 80s,
No.
I didn't ask you.
2009.
I didn't ask you. Ben, when did we give up the plant?
Yeah, it was early 2000s.
Early 2000s, okay. When we gave up the plant, you're going to start from scratch.
Another question on the ordinance, similar to the other one, this part that's in bold on the meters, the section C.
I don't have the long one, this one.
Is that new?
No,
Okay, so that's already built into.
correct.
Okay.
I can explain that a little more if you want. There were ordinances in the past that were passed by council regarding this exact issue, 2 of them actually, and they were never put into the code. So all we're doing is putting them into the code.
Okay. But all that's taken into account in these numbers. Okay, very good.
Any other questions?
I just have a comment.
Sure.
I don't have numbers in front of me, but I know at a workshop a couple months ago, we went through all this stuff, and it just seemed to me like, as much as I hate to do it, 17% is not enough to cover what we think is going to happen in the next few years. So,
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what the best thing is to do about that. It just seems like there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike that we can
There are.
barely pay what we owe right now, and we would have to take out loans for any new work. So I don't know. It just
May I ask Lene a question to hopefully help answer your question? In a first reading, can we adjust the numbers by the second reading, or does it have to be exact? Because what I'm used to is you pass it on first reading, you can still make adjustments before the second reading.
You can make minor adjustments. I think if it's just to the number, I think that's fine. You can change that on the second reading. It's not completely changing the ordinance.
Right.
So.
All you're doing is plugging in a different number. If the council wishes, I can do further number crunching on a slightly higher and show you the impact of that if you wish by second reading. I tried to factor in 30 years, you try to never do a double-digit rate increase. You try to keep it less than 10%. At least that's ideal. In this case, that really wasn't an option, certainly not in both of them. And tried to look at water going up so high, not recommend quite so much. But the reality is, the higher the rate increase, every dime can be utilized almost immediately in very much needed improvements. So if you're willing to consider a higher one, I'm happy to bring you back some additional numbers for your consideration. It's really what the community is willing to accept.
Greg, you and I are see eye to eye with this, and I'm on the same page as you are. But I also don't want to, at the same time, if somebody's on a fixed income, or somebody that is not able to do that. I don't want to go too soon, where I think, this is my opinion, the 17% might be that balance of giving us a start, and then I know what you said about ideally you don't come back.
For 3 years.
Yeah, for 3 years, but that would give us a good baseline, and then we can see. I know what you're saying, you know, but I'm okay. Look,
Well,
we can see the numbers. I have no problem.
We don't have to take action, do we? I'm sorry.
I have no problem with us getting the numbers. We can always, and we can talk about those at the workshop, if we want to read this in.
I will bring back one additional option that's higher in both and show you the revenue it would generate for your consideration, and then you can either stay with what you've got or adjust either one or neither.
Okay.
Is that what I'm hearing?
I think the piece that I'm missing is, what are we paying?
The average water bill is $43.
No, I mean, what are our expenses as the water company? What do we pay to
I
buy
can
the
bring-
water, to fix the pipes, to do, you know, whatever new projects we have going on? What the rate study that we got showed a bunch of projects coming up in the next few years.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, I mean, on average, we spend this much per year to buy water, to distribute water, to fix our system, and to pay people, you know, whatever else. So whatever those expenses are, that's how much we need to collect.
I can certainly show you that. What I would tell you is that this funds some, but certainly not all, of the current capital improvement projects. There are a couple of projects that are in excess of $1 million, because it doesn't make sense to fix the water line but not fix the street over it, or not fix the storm sewer while you got it dug up. And so it's, from an economic standpoint, you want to do it all at once,
Right.
but that makes it a multi-million dollars. So my suggestion was that we're going to start saving money towards those, and then we're going to add to the capital improvements plan whatever we can buy with the increase that you approve. But I believe Jill has data, and we looked at it at the last workshop, and if not everything you want, I can get you more on exactly what we spend. I will tell you, one of the biggest areas of need in this, in the sewer and water, is some pay increases for our employees. I've got people that are not making that much more than they're paying McDonald's now. And we're not gonna keep really good employees if everything else is going up and we can't pay them. And so, as much as I hate to say it, that's not factored in,
Well, and if
but
there's
it needs to be.
If there's a recipe for our success, and
Absolutely.
it's that.
But I just
It's
want to point
people.
out, that's a piece that has not been considered and needs to be, and I want to bring that to your attention. Ben and his crew are worth everything we pay them and a whole lot more. We can't afford to pay them what they're worth, but we need to pay them more than what we're currently paying them.
Agreed.
And that pretty much goes across the board. So, I'll bring you two more options by the next council meeting.
I would like to see 20% as an option of what the revenue that would generate, just going up 3 more from the current.
That's a
or the-
percentage I had in my mind too, as I was looking at it.
Okay,
Because
so,
if you factor them together, that puts the total bill up 15%.
so 20% on water and leave sewer where it was, or raise it as well?
No, I'm good with that. I mean,
Yeah.
personally.
Okay, so just bring 20% on water?
As a comparison.
Yeah, we'll do it. Thank you, glad to do it. And count any of you, if you want more detail on the budgets of the specific, please let me know, and I'll get you all the information you want and then some. I mean, it's important that you understand where the money goes. All right? Thank you.
So is this going to be tabled,
Or
or are we reading it? Or what?
you're reading it, aren't you, for first reading?
I was gonna say, we can do, you said we can just change the number.
Adjust the number, yes.
Yeah.
So let's read it at 17.
Oh, I took it? Sorry.
It's okay.
What did I do with it? Water rate. There we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
There you go.
All right. It's an ordinance to amend Chapter 52, Water Rules and Regulations, and to specifically amend Section 52.116 of the West Milton Municipal Code titled Water Rates and Municipality. Whereas the municipality's expenses for providing water service and maintaining the water distribution system is projected to exceed revenues provided by the current rate structure. And whereas pursuant to Ordinance CM-13-26, which was amended by CM-17-34, Council established the Water Capital Debt Service Fund and set a fee schedule to collect fees to service current and future capital projects and any debt created as a result of those projects in the Water Department. And whereas it is necessary to incorporate the fee schedule listed in CM-17-34 into the existing West Milton codified ordinances. And whereas Council recognizes the importance of maintaining the fiscal stability of the municipality's water fund. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, Chapter 52.116 of the West Milton Code of Ordinances is hereby amended to read in full as follows. Section 52.116, Water Rates and Municipality. Section A, there shall be levied and assessed upon each customer who owns improved real estate and to whom municipal water service is accessible, even if a physical connection with water does not exist, a service charge payable as provided in this section. Section B, the usage charge shall be based on the quantity of water used as measured by the water meters on all billing statements payable after the effective date herein provided, and the same are fixed as follows. One, effective with the September 1st, 2022 billing date, or billing, the water rates shall be as follows, with a 2% automatic annual increase each year hereafter. A, an operational charge of $15.74 for each billing period. B, a per 1,000 gallon usage charge of $6.97. 2, the operational charge shall be levied, then the 1,000 gallon usage charge for each 1,000 gallons of meter water usage shall be added to the operations charge. Thus, the minimum rate charge for 1,000 gallons in a billing period shall be $22.71. Section C, the following fees in addition to the fees stated in Section B above shall be paid by each customer to service current and future capital projects associated with the Water Department and any debt related with said projects, and be placed in the Water Capital Debt Service Fund with a 2% automatic increase each year hereafter. Meter size, 5/8 inch. The fee per account per month is $6.81. For a meter size of 1 to 2 inches, it's $10.42. For a meter size of 3 inches plus, it's $26.44. Section D, finals. 1, the municipality shall make a final meter reading upon the request of the customer. If this final meter reading is for less than a standard billing period, the customer shall be charged for all water utilized during this reading. The customer shall also pay the full service charge even if it is not a full billing period. All finals shall be paid by the due date printed on the bill. If payment is not received by the due date, a service charge of $30 shall be levied on the account. If the service is turned off due to failure to pay the final bill, an off and on fee of $20 shall be levied in accordance with Section 52.136, in addition to all charges due. Section 2, if a tenant fails to pay a final bill, the invoice shall be forwarded to the landlord of the property with a 14-day payment extension. If payment is not received with this extension, a $30 service charge shall be levied on the account, and service can be disconnected with an off and on fee of $20. Section E, the customer shall be billed for the service charge or minimum rate charged for the watering meter only for those billing periods during the year where water was used. All water that registers on the watering meter shall be charged in accordance with the provisions of this Code of Ordinances. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in effect from and after September 1st, 2022. Section 3, all ordinances and resolutions or parts of ordinances and resolutions in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed.
Thank you, Ms. Brush. Moving on to the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I've already mentioned the water loss issue that we're dealing with at the moment. Ben and his crew are doing everything within their power to track it down, but it fluctuates, and so far, even with some significant leak detection, we've not been able to determine the location. I'd also like to ask, if you know who is participating in the 4th of July parade, and whether or not you'll have your own vehicle, or we need to arrange for city vehicles, or and I don't have to know tonight, but the parade's asked us to get organized, and so if you can let me know. We do have new magnets for everyone with your actual name on it, and updated, so obviously you're all welcome, and they're available. So if you can let me know when you know for sure, we'll get all set up. All right?
You guys do last year?
What are we doing this year?
You jumped in the back of a truck,
Yeah, they jumped.
as I recall, last year.
We've done
Bale of hay on the city
bale
truck?
of hay, we've done Corvettes, we had, I mean, whatever.
City truck works for me.
I'm good with
Yeah, I
that.
like the truck.
I'm sorry, what was,
The city truck
City
works
truck?
for me.
okay.
Maybe not the garbage truck, but one of the other ones.
I think we're putting a new one in there regardless, but yeah, we'll, if everyone wants to participate in a city vehicle, we'll have enough trucks to accommodate you all and get the magnets on, and we'll be good to go. All right? May I move on to old business? Yeah, Mr. Kaufman, would you like to give an update on the South Side project, please?
It's good to see everybody again. There are certain bases that I've made strong acquaintances with. But, on the south side,
I used to counsel.
there are some notes here. I will try to do my best to give you an update. Randall residents, they have their financing in place. We're running some cost issues, so we're going to change the location of the building to save some money because of the rock. So we'll have to be bringing that back before the city, and let them, if we had come back to the board of planning or something.
You will ultimately, you'll come back to the planning board, and then they'll make a recommendation, and it'll come back to the council for final action.
The building will be the same, maybe a little different configuration, but still the same units, same basic design. So that's going to take a little longer. I'd love to give you a date today, but you know that I can't. On the 84 senior villas, that loan has been approved as well, and it's been appraised, and Chris Randall has actually signed everything. We're going to be trying to meet next week meeting to actually sign a contract with him for us to build them. We're building those in Centerville right now. Recently, Jason Morris, who will be a partner on the north side of the zone, took the zoning commission to Settlers Walk in Springville, show them around, and then took them over to Centerville to show the Randall residents there, took them into the models, and it would be the same floor plan. When they took them into some houses that we're building, I think it was a good time well spent, and I'd like to extend that same offer, particularly the new people who are just going to be there. Some of you have been welcome to come again. We'll be glad to start day and take you down that path. So we're moving forward. Randall is going to go, and we're happy about that. Premier Health, they're absolutely committed. We can't tell you today when we're going to pull the trigger to start. Currently working with two other professional field people. I'm not going to tell you who they are. One of them is local, one of them is not local. That wants their own building. We're working with an architect right now, supposed to be coming up with a design to approve that. But they would like to get started certainly by January, February of next year. Retail space, I'm working with a community bank that hopefully will bring to the table. And we have some other potential users for retail. 3 weeks ago, I went to the International Shopping Center convention, and I met with all kinds of retailers, restaurants, drugstores. I had 2 good conversations with drugstores. And that's an ongoing thing. It's a lot of work. So I'm constantly sending out emails to them. But we do have a strong interest in the district building. The Marketplace Express has that sector of the oil business has been difficult to get financing because of oil is not popular these days. It's a $6 million kind of venture, and we're on to a new venture. We're going to get it done. So, and then we're currently working on the last 93 lots of the residential lots. And, some of them will be paid towards the end of June. The balance will be paid probably in August. So that's really the forward looking question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ron.
That's all I have.
Okay. Moving on to old business. Any old business with council this evening? Any new business?
We're having third
Mhm.
Thursday this week.
Yes.
Our first one, let's see, what is it, June? Okay, so our first one in May was successful. I think the numbers were a little bit lower than at the end of last year, but, you know, kids were still in school and lots of sports activities were going on. But everybody just loves coming out. It's really awesome to see everybody. I'm thinking this Thursday is going to be pretty hot, right? It's still supposed to be hot. But we have a band coming, actually. Chief is playing this Thursday.
Chief Wright?
Yes, Chief Wright.
Excellent.
So I'm excited. He's a bluegrass band,
Yeah.
so he's going to be playing Thursday, and then we have food trucks coming, and then also we're going to do a little putt-putting around the retail area.
Nice.
So
Nice.
if the store's open, they'll have a little putt-putt for you
Okay.
to do, and you have to start at the Village Peddler. Go get your putter, and then if you
Yeah.
go to all the locations and you turn your card in at the end, we're putting it in all of the, sorry, I can't talk, all of the cards in to possibly win a gas gift card.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
see how far it gets you.
Yeah.
All right,
Excellent.
that's
Thank
it.
you. Any other comments, or I'm sorry, any other new business? Any comments from citizens? Hold on, sir, if I can get you to come up to the podium.
You know, a lot of numbers here about water and sewer. But you don't even read the meters right. You know each month, they may hold 800 gallon on you for the next month. You know, when you took this, we're paying for meters right now. And I don't know when they'll be paid for. I know it ain't very long, but they only financed them for 10 years, I think.
Yeah, if it's not fallen off already, it's getting ready to.
And, but why don't you read the meters like it is? I mean, say you got 100 households that have 800 gallon of water that's held over each month. That's a lot of money.
I believe the meters are being read properly. I'm not sure what you're basing that on.
No, y'all round it out to the 1,000 gallon. You don't round it out to the gallon.
Okay.
So if you use 10 gallons, you use 158 gallons, you use 990 gallons, it's still $1,000 charge.
So you're saying we're not charging
1,000
enough?
cubic feet charge.
You're saying we're not charging enough?
No, I'm just saying you're not reading the meters completely.
Overcharging.
They're saying that if you use 500 gallons,
rounds
you're paying
up.
for 1,000.
Yes.
You're overcharging.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So if we fix the water lines, we'll have fewer leaks, is that right?
That's the theory. I hope so.
It's a plan.
Yeah, and I think that's a good goal. Fewer leaks. Do we have a large leak? I don't recall that being discussed before.
We just did leak
How much
detection.
loss?
We don't know
We
for
don't
sure what the
know.
problem is. We're still looking.
No, I mean, how much loss? You know how much.
It
you're buying
fluctuates.
And how much you're charging now, how
It,
much loss.
it fluctuates, sometimes
Yeah.
10, up sometimes
Or is
20.
there no loss because of the overcharging like Mr. Green says?
No, it's, could be 20%, it could be 30%. We can't nail it down. We do our leak studies. We do 2 leak studies a year. We pinpoint them, fix them, and it's really a mystery. We've been searching in-house for a long time, so, yeah.
Okay. So we don't know how much we're leaking, or how much loss we have to leaks.
I don't know exactly, no.
It depends on the day. That's the problem. It's not consistent.
Month to month, you don't know, year to year, you don't know.
We do know, I'm saying on a given day, I can't tell you exactly what the percentage of loss
That's not what I was
is.
asking.
Mr. Kraft, are you trying to get at something?
Yeah, just trying to find out how much we're leaking and
they-
how much we could probably save before fixing all the lines.
Well, that's what
Just trying to
they
get
don't
some
know.
Answers on. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Jeffrey Sheridan says. Jeffrey Sheridan also said, you know, we shut down our water plant and any possibility that we can have our own water without knowing the reason why the water plant was shut down anyway. Council and the residents back then, you know, wanted to have the water plant shut down because the Ohio EPA was finding us millions of dollars every year
Okay, but
for, you know.
we're working on finding out how much it's leaking. But do you have a question?
Yeah, well, I was asking how much loss we're experiencing, and the answer is we don't know, but well, I think we do know probably month to month or year to year.
No, we really don't. It fluctuates. I mean, it literally, we're trying to run diagnostics on our equipment. There's about 5 or different techniques that we've just decided that we're gonna try to figure out what the actual loss is. Yeah, I mean, right now, I just can't tell you because I don't know.
I think it would be important to quantify, you know, what kind of losses, and that way we know that we fix all
I
the
totally
lines.
agree. I can't
Yeah.
agree with you more.
And it's way too much.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like wasting resources that we've got. We want to maximize the resources so we can, you know, pass on the savings to the residents. And that's, I think, the real issue here is to try and fix problems, you know.
Yes,
And
yeah.
then make sure that, you know, those savings get passed on. If we're saving enough money, then maybe those savings can mitigate the increases in charges that
Right.
we've been talking about. I've not really heard a whole lot about, you know, mitigating increase in rates. You know, I hear a lot of talk about going ahead and raising rates because we're losing money, but
Right.
I don't think
We have to-
we're losing, so how do we know?
We have to be able to pay for the repairs. We have to be able to
I understand.
pay for, and so that's why but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
once everything's fixed, maybe we're gonna realize some of those savings.
Yeah, but we can't know if we don't know what we're losing. Be great to know. I mean, we're talking about $7 per thousand increase that you guys went ahead and passed here today.
No,
tonight.
that's not correct.
We didn't
Oh, it's
pass
not
it.
passed tonight?
No, that's
You
not
guys went
correct.
ahead
Your
and-
math is not correct.
Yeah.
Not per
you're
thousand.
gonna Tweak the math later.
Listen,
Yeah.
not per thousand. That was total for a 4,000 gallon average bill.
Oh, I heard somebody say it was
That-
$6.97 per thousand gallon increase.
No, that's how much you pay per 1,000 gallons for whichever
I
one
think
you're
you're quoting
referring
from the
to.
ordinance.
Yes.
We'll get you a copy of the ordinance if you want to see that.
That'd be super. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
But whether you're talking about water,
Direction, it's just good to be able to quantify where we're at, where we're going, how can, you know.
Absolutely.
We pass on the savings rather than just carte blanche say, let's increase rates 50%.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
At this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, everybody.